Jai Hind everyone. I am Anjali Dubey, welcoming you all to my YouTube channel English Buzz with Anjali. Today's topic for the day is Class 8th English poem on the Grasshopper and Cricket by John Keats. So, without wasting any time, let's dig into this poem. This is the poem by John Keats, and his one of his picture is this. John Keats is probably known for his vivid imagery and great sensual appeal. Although he died at a very young age at just 25 years, and his death was admired greatly in the Victorian age because his literary work was so nice that everybody appreciated it. Though he belonged to the period of Romanticism, along with P.B. Shelley and other writers too. So, let's start with the poem on the grasshopper and cricket. In the first paragraph, actually, this poem is made up of two paragraphs. The first one is consisting 8 lines, then the other one is in the 6 lines. So, the first paragraph is in the form of an octet, whereas the second one is in the form of a sestet. An octet is a paragraph, a poetry paragraph which has 8 lines, whereas a sestet is a poetry paragraph which has 6 lines. So, let's talk about the first paragraph. The poetry of earth is never dead, when all the birds are faint with the hot sun, and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new mown mead. So, the poetry of earth is never dead. It does not mean that वो कभी ख़त्म नहीं हो रही है अर्थ की poetry. It means the beauty, the nature which is eternal, which is surrounding us, is so never ending, and it plays a very crucial and an important role in everybody's life. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun, that means the poet is talking about the summer season, the hot sun. And hide in cooling trees, a voice will run. So now in the next lines, the poet talks about when it is very hot, the summer season has begun. The birds are flying high up in the sky, and when usually that the hot breeze blow into the daytimes, it is very difficult for us to sustain living into our homes. How will the birds who are flying up high in the air be surviving? So they usually faint in that hot weather, and just to seek a little coolness, just to get themselves a little comfort, they try to move from one tree to the other, from one place to other, from one grass or from one flower to other, just looking for or seeking for some coolness. That is the grasshoppers he takes the lead in the summer luxury he has never done. With his delights, for when tired out with fun, he rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. So now the grasshopper is taking the lead. That means he takes the lead. Like now it is a grasshopper who just travels up into this hot weather because he lives into the grasslands, and the grasslands are generally having lower temperature as compared to the atmosphere because the soil is wet and it reduces the temperature by certain degrees. Now when the grasshopper is living into that grasslands, it is very cold for him. Not exactly cold, but it is a bit relief from the outside weather for him, and that is why the grasshopper is taking the lead. And since it lives beneath some pleasant weeds, the what are weeds are unwanted plants, so it is pleasant in the poetry because the grasshopper is taking a shelter inside the weed, and it is giving him more cool atmosphere to live or dwell in. Now into the second paragraph, the poetry of earth is ceasing never. Again, the poet says about that the poetry, the beauty, the nature, the natural charisma is never going to end or never going to come to an end. on a lone winter evening when the frost has wrought a silence from the stone there shrills. Now, see, the poet in the first paragraph was talking about the summer season, whereas in the second paragraph, the poet himself is talking about the winter season. He states about, sorry, he says about on a evening time into the winters when there is so darkness everywhere, so silence, because generally summer is full of chaos, whereas winter is full of silence. Everywhere there is silence. When frost is everywhere, when frost has covered up the sky, the houses, people are not able to see, have a clear vision, and there is a silence everywhere. From the stone there shrills, from one stone, from the backside of that stone, there is a loud voice which is coming up, the cricket's song, in warmth increasing ever. So that voice beneath or besides the latter half of the rock, the voice which is coming is of the cricket. And the way the voice is coming for a continuous time, the poet describes it as a song, like the poet is singing a song. And seems to one in drowsiness half lost. And seems to one, the poet wants to describe about the one who hears that sound of that cricket, the cricket who is making certain sounds from the back of the stone, is in half lost drowsiness, like the one who is sleepy, the one who has just woken up from his sleep is only able to hear the cricket's song. The grasshopper among some grassy hills. Now, the poet is describing about that. In the first paragraph, he has talked about the grasshopper who takes lead in the summer, whereas in the second paragraph, the poet is talking about the cricket who takes the lead into the winter season. Now, this beautiful poem by Grasshopper and the Cricket is just imagery poem. So let's talk about few of the poetic devices or the literary devices into this poem. Let's talk about the first one, which is the alliteration. So what actually an alliteration is? Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in one single line into the nearest words. So in the fourth line of the first paragraph, hedge to hedge, it is written as hedge to hedge. That means the alliteration is used here. In the same line, it is new mound mead. Again, the alliteration is here. Some more example for alliteration. Yes. Stone there shrills. This is again an example of alliteration. Let's talk about another poetic device, which is oxymoron. Yes. See, pleasant weed. Weed is something which is unwanted, which is not desirable by the people in the crop. So people usually remove out weed. If a person removes out weed, how can it be pleasant? It cannot be pleasant. That means it is not pleasant. So when there are two contradictory words into their meanings, when the words do not match with one another, so they have entirely different context in which they are used in a particular, and that too that too they are used together. So such kind of words are called as oxymoron. It has personification as well, because the grasshopper, that is the grasshopper, he takes the lead in the first paragraph. So if we are talking about the grasshopper, it's an animal and we should have used it in place of he. The grasshopper is being personified as we are talking, or giving it some human traits, and we are using he to denote that. Again here also, he rests at ease. Again we're talking about the grasshopper, and we are personifying the grasshopper by making it a lively creature and giving it a personified image. So this was it about the today's poem on the grasshopper and cricket. We'll catch you soon again with some another reader or grammar part. Thank you. Bye bye.